As requested, here's a bigger video on the robot book by Richard Pawson. Thank you, Beamy and the Battery Powered Bricks Discord group for pushing for this. As you can see, it's a very old one with a very tattered old slip cover on it. Published by written by Richard Pawson, published by Windward. Copyright 1985. So there's a basic Lego arm for the 4.5 volt Lego Technic system, the early days. Introduction, history of robots, early automata, the electrical frog simulation experiment, early computers, the 1938 Micro Mouse maze solver. We got into more robots like home robots and how they envisioned they would be in the early days. Robots in the movies and stories. Toy robots from Japan. More from the stories. Logan's Run. Can't remember what that one is. Definitely can't remember what that one is, even though I know it was starring Harrison Ford. Blade Runner. More toys. More automatons. I think that's from the Asimov book. It's 3 laws of robotics. A robot may not injure a human or through inaction allow a human to come to harm. The robot must obey the orders of the humans except when it would conflict. The first law, a robot must protect its existence as long as its protection does not conflict with the first or second laws of robotics. Again, how they envisioned we would have robots in the home. Industrial robots. Robots in space. Yes, this is very early. Viking 1. It's funny that the current underground drain inspection robots haven't changed much in years, and I've seen one of these in a customer's property. British Telecom robot. British Telecom doesn't really exist in that old style. Army robots. Warehouse robots. I've seen these in action and I've seen these in action, and watching them, the current one generation move is lightning fast and lightning scary. Telecommunications, telepresence robots. Artificial limbs. Mechanical legs and arms. Industrial manipulation in the production facilities. Educational robot. Never seen any of these. So if somebody has, I'll be glad to listen to. I've got this one. I've seen one of these. Never seen that. I've never seen that because I've never had any of the that stuff. But these all run on Logo. Early domestic robots. Never lasted very long. Robot toys. Transformers. Zoids. That's now available as a kit some places. Experimental robot arms and camera. Fake robots. Then we got to how robots work. The different geometries. We've got Cartesian, cylindrical, polar and jointed arm. Different types of manipulators, welding attachments, snake-like attachments for non-curved objects, robot geometry, basic introduction to a servo and how it's controlled, a harmonic drive, how internal stepper motors are constructed, hydraulics, again some basic pneumatic sets that were available in this stuff. Yes, somebody's already told me what it is and I've forgotten what it is already. Basic diagram of a robot and how to calculate positioning, touch sensors, light sensors, sound reactive robots, remote controlled, micro mouse maze mouse circuits, telepresence. Yes, they had telepresence back in the 80s. Wasn't nearly as sophisticated as it is now, and not nearly as small as we have now with Raspberry Pi. Smell and taste. Yeah, they had early ideas for system sensors back there. Plan for a robot. Yes, it looks like a lot like K9. That's Commodore 64 and computer fundamentals. Robot interfaces. Yes, we all had interfaces back then. Yes, there were interfaces back then, but they were expensive and difficult to track. So much well that I couldn't track one, and I've even designed one. Discussion on artificial intelligences, where they're starting to come and nobody wants them. Image recognition and how they works. Basic programs. Again, neural networks and how they recognize images. Then we get on to the interesting bit, the actual practical projects. So I said this section, in a slightly slimmed down version, was available as a separate book. I do have the separate book, but I can't for the life of me find what I've done with it. So when I find that version of it, I will upload a video of that. Okay, there's the basic Lego arm, single motor Lego robot. Fisher Technic, that's what that other stuff is called. The German connection thing, Technic kits. Brief example of the various parts available in Lego this side, Fisher Technic there. With Lego, you're stuck to the fixed dimensions of the Lego pieces, whereas Fisher Technic, you can adjust it like you can with aluminium tubing, extrusion. Basic electrical skills. Largely redundant now because modern electronics have crimped connections. They're a bugger to replace when the cables do go on the 9-volt systems. Various motors, touch switches, electromagnet, potentiometer, light sensors, screw terminals, batteries, wiring connections. The old 4.5 volt battery box. We do have touch sensors now with the 9 volts. Various interfaces available. We have the VIC rule for the Commodore, the Interspec for the Spectrum, and the Interbeep for the BBC. VIC rule, as I explained a minute or two ago, is not an easy one to produce. Basic buggies. I've built this one and we'll include a picture of it along with the photo render of it. I have produced another version of it using the gearbox that was available separately. It's the basic assembly guide. I tried to render a video, but it takes about 485 hours to render a 3-minute video. How to program it to run. Harmonic drive simulation and kids coming home from school. Basic motor control using the Fisher technique, not the Lego. If you've got any of the metal technique, you could probably reproduce it because the plastic technique's not long enough or just not strong enough. A basic toy Android. And simple 4.5 volt system and only one motor. All old technique with all the studded beams. How to wire it up to the interfaces and the various programs, or should I say the programs for the various machines. Basic 3-axis arm using servos. A drafts playing robot. This one uses Fisher technique because of the electromagnet. As far as I'm aware, Lego have never had one of those, so while it is slightly possible to produce, you won't be seeing me produce one anytime soon. Wiring diagram, again programming. Is the instructions for the 3-axis, the Lego robot arm we've seen a couple of times. I will draw these up in Lego Studio at some point, so keep watching. A card dealing robot. At the time, it was only achievable with Fisher technique, but now with the way Lego technique is, for the last 10 years, this has been able to build one of these. I did build one, but I don't know where my instructions are, so I'll have to look for them at another date. We'll start again. The card holder. We've got free roving robot. This is again using the Lego motor and gearbox assembly. Nothing special here. Got his own arm on the top of it. This one required 4 motors, as we can see here. It has the reduction gearbox on the arm motor, whereas the regular motors just have the ordinary gearbox. A walking man. Now this one is done in Fisher technique with servos and the beastie commotion unit. I've never found one of those, so I've never been able to achieve it. But again, with modern Lego, this is now achievable. An XY plotter. Again, this was built using the BBC Fisher technique buggy. You can actually build this now with modern Lego. And if you've got the interface A or interface B, you can actually control it using them on a computer. Here's how to modify the buggy chassis to work. Or should I say the buggy circuit board to work. Process of assembling the Fisher technique. Another polar arm. Again, they built it with Fisher technique, but it is now buildable with Lego. Because it's got manipulators that have touch sensors that are now available from touch switch in the form of touch switches. It uses variable resistors for positioning sensing. Here's how they're wired up. The big track. How to control the big track. Would you believe, even though it was only released a while ago, I still haven't got one of these. And it's still on my shopping list. But I doubt the new one is anywhere near the original Milton Bradley version. How to disassemble it. How to modify the circuit board. how to make a new connection for controlling it. Modifying to move its range of toys. I haven't found any of these. I've not seen any at all, so if anyone does, feel free to reach out and send me one for testing. The Memcon Crawler, another version of the Floor Turtle program. A little bit on logo programming, including drawing shapes. Again, readily achievable now using the interface adapters or even a control center for the Lego Technic. Listing of parts, glossary of various terms, and then index to the various sections, and listing of acknowledgements. Printed in Yugoslavia. So, if you like that, please, and you're not already done so, can you like, subscribe, ring that bell wherever it is on YouTube, because it keeps changing from week to week. And please feel free to donate coffee if you can. Donate to Buy Me a Coffee if you can afford to. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.